Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Kartals. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Kopitana Balaba Girivardhari. Kopitana Balaba Girivardhari. Yasodhanandana Bradadana Ranjana. Yasodhanandana Bradadana Ranjana. Yamunatira Banachari. Yamunatira Banachari. Jayo Radha Madhavo Kunja Bihari. Gopidana Balabha Girivardhari. Yasodhanandana Bradadana Ranjana. Yamunatira Banachari. Jayo Radha Madhavo Kunja Bihari. Jayo Radha Madhavo Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hey, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Na Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jayo Radha Madha Mohan, Radha Madha Mohan, Sri Radhe. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Hariba, 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 Nitai Gaura Hariba. Nitai Gaura Premanandi. Hare Krishna. Welcome everybody to the Sunday Feast Festival here at ISKCON of Silicon Valley in Mountain View. Thank you all for attending. Thank you also for the internet audience to be with us online. Today we will speak about some insights of Prahlad Maharaj teachings. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripadam Aham Vande Sri Guru Dinataranam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So we're very happy and fortunate to be at the lotus feet of Sri Radha Madha Mohan, Sri Lakshmi Nrsimhadev, Mahaprabhu, Srila Prabhupada, in the association of all the assembled Vaishnavas here. It is our first Sunday program here that we're giving the talk, so thank you for attending and for being so kind and considerate. So, yesterday was Nrsimha Chaturdasi, which is a big day in our calendar, because Nrsimhadev is exemplifying protection, poshanam. And protection is something that we all very much need in this world. You all worried about your insurance, whether you have car insurance, whether you have health insurance, whether you have travel insurance. There's insurance for everything nowadays. You can even insure your body parts. If you have the desire and the money to do so, it is available. But Prahlad Maharaj is showing to us that actually in this world there is no proper insurance. There's nothing that can be assured except four things which are very clearly facts. Janma mrityu jara vyadhi dukkha doshanudharshanam. You can't insure against birth because birth is taking place. Even though modern man has tried to prevent birth with so many different ways and means. Have they been successful in doing so? I don't think so. Have you ever visited the Californian parking lot of the 101 or the 280? And you wonder, where do all these people come from? Why does all these people have to be on the road at the same time when I'm on the road, right? Have you ever asked yourself that question? Like, why can't they work alternate days, Or like, early morning shift and afternoon shift and night shift? Why does everybody have to be in the same place at the same time? It is because janma, or birth, cannot be avoided. And so, more and more people are taking birth, and living in the urban cities is becoming more and more difficult. It is becoming more and more unlivable, practically speaking, to be in these environments, just because of the entire atmosphere that goes along with it. I mean, you live here, so no need to explain to you all these details. So, birth cannot be avoided. Mrityu, death cannot be avoided. It is happening as we speak. Death is knocking on somebody's door. And there is no excuse. There is no, oh, I'm not home. Okay, I have my answering machine, I'll let my answering machine deal with that one. No, when your number comes up, then you have to deal with it, one way or the other. There is no way around it. And in the meantime, of course, old age is also creeping up on everybody. Jara, old age is coming and embracing us slowly but tightly. And there is no escape. And a little bit of vyadhi, a little bit of disease. If you were to give a list of all the things that are wrong with our body, I'm sure you would find a few things that are not perfectly fine. Has this ever happened to you? Or is it just me? It's a general state, right? And just when you become older, you become more aware of it. When you're more young, then because of so much youthful enthusiasm and energy, you can run around without clothes on, you think you're invincible. That's the youthful state of life. But then as one grows older, one becomes a little more aware of the shortcomings of the material existence. So Prahlad Maharaj is teaching us that there is no insurance here in this world. In fact, he's telling us that the remedies, the so-called solutions that people are giving to the problems of life are mostly creating bigger problems than the original problem. Just like we had a problem that we live here, but we work there because it's not affordable to live in that place. So we live in a different place, but then we have to commute. So we have created a situation where we invented automobile, we invented transportation, we invented all these things, but it has created a bigger problem than the initial problem. What was the initial problem? That people would live and work in the same village. That was just the common scenario. That you lived and worked in the same village, and you knew the people in the village, and you would interact and have business with the people in the same village or even in the same community. But nowadays, the world has become a global village, and with one fingertip, you can be in touch with so many people on the other side of the planet. But even though we are surfing at great speed on so many devices, the quality of our interaction and the quality of our exchange and the quality of our experience has been reduced to a great extent. So, a bhakti yogi, a practitioner of Krishna consciousness, is a person who wants their quality of life back, who is not accepting the fact that they have to become a statistic in somebody else's calculation. So, we should not try to make a permanent settlement in this temporary situation. Just like all of us, we have experienced in our childhood building castles of sand, but they did not last. The same way in the Bible it says you should build on rock, not on shifting sand. So Prahlad Maharaj is teaching us that we should seek for shelter, for protection from the Lord, not from so many other agents. It doesn't mean you don't lock your car and your house. It doesn't mean you may not have an alarm or you may not have insurance. No. It means that this is not our ultimate faith. This is not our ultimate repository. Just like one sadhu that was living in the Himalayas. His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj, when he was with him, he asked him, why are you keeping this stick? And that sadhu said that there is some tiger roaming in the forest, and he has already eaten a few people. So he said, but what will this stick do against the tiger? He said, well, I'm just trying to do my part. I'm just trying to show Thakurji, I'm just trying to show Krishna that, okay, I'm doing my part. I'm carrying stick, okay. I know you're the one who is protecting me, but I'm also doing my part. So we should not be foolish that we think, let Krishna worry about everything, and I will just simply be oblivious of all these facts. So, there's a few verses that I would like to focus on, and we're starting with 7th canto, 9th chapter, text number 25. Just now coming. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. 7, 9, 25. No, one, and then other ones. Okay, no, not a series. All individual. So, we can chant together. Kutra shisha shruti sukha megatrishni rupa kvedang kaleva ramashesha rajam viroha nirvidyatena tujano yadapiti vidvan kamanalam madulavai shamayan durapai. There's too much sun on that one. Thank you for the book. You see, books will always be useful because don't count on technology. In the last few days, my phone has started to play up. I turn it on and it comes on for 1 second and boop, it disappears. And then again on and it's gone for within a second. So it's... Okay, so this is Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th canto, 9th chapter, text number 25. Prahlad pacifies the Lord with prayers. In this material world, every living entity desires some future happiness, which is exactly like a mirage in the desert. Where is water in the desert? Or in other words, where is happiness in this material world? As for this body, what is its value? It is merely a source of various diseases. The so-called philosophers, scientists, and politicians know this very well, but nonetheless, they aspire for temporary happiness. Happiness is very difficult to obtain, but because they are unable to control their senses, they run after the so-called happiness of the material world and never come to the right conclusion. So, we can read the purport. There is a song in the Bengali language which states, I constructed this home for happiness, but unfortunately there was a fire, and everything has now been burned to ashes. This illustrates the nature of material happiness. Everyone knows it, but nonetheless one plans to hear or think something very pleasing. Unfortunately, all of one's plans are annihilated in due course of time. There were many politicians who planned empires, supremacy, and control over the world. But in due course of time, all their plans and empires, and even the politicians themselves, were vanquished. Everyone should take lessons from Prahlad Maharaj about how we are engaged in so-called temporary happiness through bodily exercises for sense enjoyment. All of us repeatedly make plans which are all repeatedly frustrated. Therefore, one should stop such plan making. As one cannot stop a blazing fire by constantly pouring ghee upon it, one cannot satisfy oneself by increasing plans for sense enjoyment. The blazing fire is Bhava Mahadavagni, the forest fire of material existence. This forest fire occurs automatically, without endeavor. We want to be happy in the material world, but this will never be possible. We shall simply increase the blazing fire of desires. Our desires cannot be satisfied by illusory thoughts and plans. Rather, we have to follow the instructions of Lord Krishna. Sarva dharman parityaja mamekam sharanam braja. Then we shall be happy. Otherwise, in the name of happiness, we shall continue to suffer miserable conditions. So, sometimes people say that, oh, you Vaishnavas, you have a very pessimistic outlook on life. But actually, it is a realistic outlook on life. So, to practice bhakti means to be realistic, to know what are the facts, to not have some illusory type of phantasmagoria. Mriga trishni rupa. It is compared to the illusion that gets created in the desert. When you're in the desert and the sand is very hot, because of the heat of the sun, it creates heat waves, and they take on different forms. And according to the imagination of the person or the animal, it is usually taking the form of an oasis. And the person or the animal thinks, oh, that there is happiness just now coming. If I just work a little harder, if I just speed up a little bit here, I will get ahead and I will catch that happiness. I will get ahead in the game. I will actually catch success. Have you ever wondered, like when there is traffic jam on the highway, but people are cutting across all the time? Oh, this one is going a little faster. Let me get over here. This one's going a little fast. I cut over here. Have you ever wondered? And if you would statistically analyze, the advantage is seconds, maybe a couple of minutes. There's no advantage. But still, people are risking their neck. They're risking their life. They're risking their good name. They're risking their mental peace and their sanity to do this. Why? Because of the mode of passion. So, the living entity thinks in this world that yes, there is something that I can achieve, and is very eagerly reaching out for sense enjoyment, not realizing that that sense enjoyment on the other side of the coin is suffering, because it comes together, heads or tail. It will always be together in a package deal. So if we are very enthusiastic to enjoy, it means we're also very enthusiastic to suffer. But we know from Shastra that in this world only two people are truly happy. One is the sadhu and the other is the pagal, the fool. So we have two choices. Either we become foolish or we become sadhus, we become saintly. There is no middle path. Of course, people will say we have to follow the middle path. Like today is also Buddha Purnima. And they are professing the middle path. Of course, it is a philosophical concept. But we know when people profess this and they say you have to walk a balanced path, right? Go the middle path. But what happens when you walk in the middle of the road? You'll get killed. Especially in India. You have to be careful. Because there's no such thing as, oh, he's a pedestrian, I could lose my house and my license or my car. It's just, I got the big gari, okay, so chalo, you move. I'm coming here. There's no consideration of, you have to have 360 vision, 360 exposure, otherwise you're finished. So, the devotee is counting on Krishna's protection, because Krishna, he is the super soul, and he's in the heart of every living entity, and he's also present in every atom, and in between every atom. So Krishna is in control of every situation. So the Lord has appeared as Nrsimhadev to protect Prahlad Maharaj. And not just to protect Prahlad, but to protect each and every one of us. And that is wonderful, because in this world, we are in a very insecure, in a very unstable situation. Amala dala jala, jivana jalamala. The life is like a drop of water on a leaf. How stable is a drop of water on a leaf? It's very unstable. It's a very shaky affair. That drop can roll off on any side at any moment. And we have seen it happen. So, we should not try to make a permanent settlement in this world. There was one sadhu who was meditating on the bank of the Ganges. And that sadhu lived for such a long period of time that whenever one Brahma would die, he would lose one hair from his body. And it said that when he had no more hairs, he would die. So that sadhu was there for a long time. And because he had been living for such a long time, his whole body was fully grown with hair because he didn't bother to cut his hair. So one hair goes, one Brahma dies. That was the extent of his lifespan. So some people came and they saw him there on the side of Ganga and they thought, oh, Babaji, why are you sitting here? It is very hot, it is very cold, it rains. And they said, we want to build some kutir, we want to do some seva, we want to build some house for you. So you can peacefully meditate. And he said, no need, not required. I'm only here for very short time. So don't bother, I'm only here for short time. Like you can see, many of you have come here, or we have all come here to America. And initially you come with one bag, right? And then one bag becomes 2 bags. And studio becomes 1 bedroom, then it becomes 2 bedrooms, like that. Then you add garage, then you get house. Then you may need storage space, like that. And so on. It expands. But we should not make plans for a permanent settlement in this temporary world. Because we know that everything is temporary. Things will not last. So in the same way, also suffering, it is temporary. It will not last. Like last night, many of us fasted. And after fasting, usually there is feasting. And after feasting, usually there is suffering. Because not so much youthful energy, not so much appetite. I mean, appetite, but no ability to process and to digest. So then suffering takes place. But if you simply wait and you take a little bit of water, then again, it will go away. So, more than 90% of all the diseases will be cured if people just are patient and they take the proper diet. And they will be cured. But immediately people are running to the doctor. First time they feel not so well, they run to doctor. If the person would just wait for a few days, he would get well. So what does the doctor say? Okay, take this pill and in a few days you will be okay. Pay me $80. It's very good business, right? He could also tell him, just go home and drink a glass of water. And in a few days you will be well. But because the fellow is impatient, we have huge pharmaceutical industry. And people are going and they're purchasing medicine at exorbitant cost. Hare Krishna. At exorbitant cost. People are spending exorbitant amounts for medicine. But there is no guarantee that that medicine will cure you. In fact, everybody nowadays knows that you have a better chance of staying healthy if you don't go to hospital. Because in hospital, all kinds of diseases are there. And you can go in there with 1 problem and you come out with 5 problems. Because it's a breeding ground for so many diseases. Or like people go and they go to psychologists or to other types of guides, and they say, excuse me, sir, I have 1 problem. Can you help me with this 1 problem? And then they start talking and revealing their mind, and when they go home, they have 5 problems. Have you ever had that scenario? No. It's quite a normal occurrence that people go try to fix something, and in the process of fixing something, they create manifold other process of problems. So in Krishna consciousness, we take shelter of Lord Nrsimhadev because we know that only Krishna consciousness, only the chanting of Harinam will actually solve the problems of birth, death, old age, and disease. Nothing else will solve these problems. So, Prahlad Maharaj is the most glorified. He is the most revered of all, amongst all the devotees. Why is this so? Can somebody give me an idea? Why is Prahlad the most glorified among all the devotees?
Because the Lord appears to protect him, like he personally comes down to protect him.
Thank you.
One of them, maybe. Like the,
Okay.
Because he has given it to Lord Krishna completely.
He has fully surrendered to Krishna completely, yes, thank you. What else?
He doesn't care about himself. He's compassionate towards.
Can you speak into the microphone and people can hear you?
He doesn't care about himself, like what problem he has, but
He's selfless, he cares about others.
Yeah, compassionate towards others.
Compassionate, yes, very good.
Because also, despite he was from a demon family, he worshipped Krishna no matter what.
Yes. Hare Krishna. So, Prahlad is most glorified because Prahlad Maharaj is the devotee that suffered the most. Can you imagine you're 5 years old and your own father wants to kill you in so many different ways? Huh? It's quite... Hiranyakashipu was the Adi culprit. He was the number one child abuser. He tried to kill his own son, 5-year-old boy, in so many different ways. So, this was a very, very troublesome and a very dangerous situation. But Prahlad simply took shelter of Lord Nrsimhadev. He simply took shelter of Lord Nrsimhadev in all these situations. And he told Nrsimhadev that for me, there is no problem. The only problem that I have is when I see the suffering of the fallen fools and rascals. That is 7th canto, 9th chapter, text 43. We can chant this verse together. Naivo dvije paraduratyaya vaitaranyas tvadvirya gayana mahamrita magna chitta Shocetato vimukacetasa indriyartha maya sukaya baramudvahato vimudhan. O best of the great personalities, I'm not at all afraid of material existence. Forever I stay, I'm fully absorbed in thoughts of your glories and activities. My concern is only for the fools and rascals who are making elaborate plans for material happiness and maintaining their families, societies, and countries. I am simply concerned with love for them. So devotee is selfless. A devotee is not self-absorbed, is not just worried about his or her own well-being, but is compassionate. Compassion, compassione. It means to suffer with the others. Paradukha dukhi. When somebody else has a problem, one is actually concerned about alleviating that problem. That is the nature, that is the heart of a devotee. Just like Vasudev Datta was so compassionate towards all living entities that he prayed and he asked Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to please transfer all the sinful reactions, all the karma of every jiva in the entire universe on his back and to liberate everybody else. He said, let me suffer for eternity and let everybody else enjoy and go back to Godhead. Now for us, this is very hard to conceive. This is very difficult. Just like we conceive when we have a fasting day and then somebody asks us, Prabhu, could you please help serving out the feast? And we're like, okay, theoretically I understand it's the right thing to do. Practically I also understand it's the right thing to do. But existentially, on a human platform, I'm hungry and I need to eat right now. And the mind says, if you don't eat right now, you will die. Isn't that what the mind says? If you don't eat right now, you're dead. Did you know that humans can go for many days without eating and they don't die? They can even go without water for a few days and they don't die. I'm saying, not saying try this at home, but it's a proven clinical fact. But our mind tells us, if today I go without food for 30 minutes longer, I will not be able to sustain life. It's quite amazing to what extent our mind has captured us and has brainwashed us, has convinced us that if you don't do this right now, you will not be able to continue living. Unless our higher intelligence kicks in and we say, yes, Krishna has answered my prayers. I have an opportunity for devotional service. And I can even do it amidst the pushings of my senses, the pushings of my mind. Maybe, my friends, okay, I would like to sit with them and eat and talk together like that. I'll just be standing there, serving out, saying, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, to everybody. Would you like a little more? Hare Krishna. Huh? So, these are small, simple acts of surrender, of sacrifice, that we can all experiment with. They're all available in this process, in this practice of bhakti. And they're very good to see, to check the pulse. Where am I? Where do I stand? How much am I listening to my mind? How much am I under the dictation of my senses? Or how much am I free from these agents? Because true peace and true happiness only exists when we're free from the pushings of this world. Rupa Goswami has stated in his Upadeshamrita, Vajravegam manasakroda vegam, jiva vegam udaropasta vegam, etan veganyo vishaheta dira, sarvam apimam pritivim shashishyat. Now we are very eager to instruct everybody that we meet, to give everybody good advice, right? Call 1-800, free advice. Always, 24/7, ready to give free advice. Have you ever watched your own mind? Isn't our own mind ready to give free advice to anybody and everybody at all times of the day and night? But are we qualified? What is the intent? What is the motive? What is the substance of that advice? If we have failed to control our mind and senses, then we're not qualified to give really valuable, sound advice. Because our advice will be jaded. It will be colored with the gunas. We will see things through our lens of the karmic configuration of the gunas with which we see the world. So, Prahlad Maharaj is showing to us that true selflessness means to care for others. And when Lord Nrsimhadev came and he killed Hiranyakashipu, and he picked up Prahlad and he put him on his lap, and he was smelling his head and he was licking his face, because that's what lions do with their children. He offered him benedictions, he offered him any boon, anything you want, you can have it. And Prahlad Maharaj said, for me, there is no worry, there is no problem. Can you imagine? For us, anything goes wrong, we have a lot to say about it if something goes wrong in our life, right? Some injustice has been done to us. Like there was no more sweet rice, or just something very minor usually. And our mind makes a big fuss about it. Hiranyakashipu just tried to kill Prahlad in so many countless ways. And Nrsimhadev is offering him benediction, and Prahlad says, no problem. For me, no problem. Everything fine. The only problem I have is the suffering of the fools and rascals. And I'm meditating, how can I benefit them? So, and what is Prahlad Maharaj asking? What is he praying for? He is praying to Nrsimhadev, please, the first person that you should save. Who is that? My father. That fellow that just tried to kill him. He's saying you should liberate him. You should help him. He needs it the most. This shows to us what is true Vaishnava compassion. Vasudev Datta. So many other examples are there. Haridas Thakur, Lord Nityananda, who underwent severe hardship, severe intense suffering, just to benefit others. One time a devotee said to Srila Prabhupada, It is stated that when one practices bhakti, one has already practiced so many other things and one has already gotten so many other preliminaries, qualifications. Otherwise, it's not possible to just achieve bhakti. But in our case, in my own case, that devotee said, I do not see any of these preliminaries. I do not see any qualifications. So how come that I could practice bhakti? Srila Prabhupada said, I have created your good fortune. I have created your punya. I've created your opportunity to take up this process of bhakti. Because Srila Prabhupada, he already performed those austerities. And he already made the arrangements so we could take up Krishna consciousness in a very simple and in a very accessible way. So that is the mercy, that is the compassion of the acharyas, who are devising a plan. They're continuously meditating. How can we make Krishna consciousness available to all living entities? The same was Prahlad Maharaj's meditation. Now we know that Prahlad, he is one of the mahajans. Swayambur Nadarakshambu Kumara Kapilamanu Prahlada Janaka Bhishma Balir Vayasakir Vayam. Not only Prahlad, but his grandson Bali Maharaj is also a mahajan. So, even though they were both born in families of demons, but they're mahajans. So, it is stated that Tarko Pratishta Shutayo Vibhinna Nayasya Rishir Matam Nabinam Dharmasya Tattvam Nihitam Guhayam Mahajanayena Kataksapanta. That the true nature of Dharma, it is hidden. Guha. Guha means cave. Like you heard of Maharaj Guha? You know that story, right? He was a forest dweller. He lived in a cave, so his name was Guha. So live in a cave. King of the cave. So, what is that hidden place? Where is the true nature of Dharma hidden? It is hidden, Mahajana Yena Kataksapanta, in the hearts of the Mahajans. And Prahlad Maharaj is a Mahajan. So, when we study his teachings, we can get access to these esoteric, intricate details of Krishna consciousness, which otherwise would elude us. So, Prahlad has given his prayers and has shown us in his own way what is the attitude, what is the proper mindset for a devotee. Just like later on in the 7th canto, it is explained how Prahlad was wandering in the forest with some of his friends and associates, and they came upon an avaduta, a person who was laying in the jungle, practicing the yoga, ajagrata vritti, like a python. And whatever came by, he would just eat that, by vegetarian food. So, and he had a very interesting discussion with that sage. So, asking him questions, praising him, taking the dust from his feet. He was free of any pretense, free of any arrogance, even though he himself, he's a Mahajan. He didn't go there, by the way, I'm a Mahajan, Who are you? You're just laying here, like, what's this, By the way, I'm the king, I'm the Rajarshi. I'm in charge for the next thousands and thousands of years. No. He took the humble role and he inquired like an ordinary person. What is the goal of life? How can we attain it? Can you please enlighten us? And in this way, by pleasing this sadhu, he got very wonderful instructions that are recorded in the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam. So these are all very, very important and very valuable examples for all of us. So, Srila Prabhupada himself, he was always absorbed in the mood of Prahlad Maharaj. He was always very eager. When you look at the database, you will see how many lectures Prabhupada has given on this section of Srimad Bhagavatam. It is very, very prominent theme, Prahlad Maharaj. And he's quoting these verses over and over and over again. Prahlad Maharaj instructing his classmates. Prahlad Maharaj offering prayers to Lord Nrsimhadev. So, Prahlad Maharaj told his friends in school, Kaumaramacharit pragyo dharman bhagavatamiha durlabha manushya janma tadapi adruvam artadam. Now when you're at the age of 5, it is time to inquire about spiritual life. What is your age? Children? I'm asking, how old are you? How many years? Show me. 3 years? 5? 5 years. Wow. What about the big boy? Also 5. Okay. So Prahlad is saying here in Bhagavatam that when you're 5, you should start this practice. Often people say, oh no, you should wait, once you're retired and once your kids have kids, once you're in Dadu mode, when you're grandfather, grandmother, then you can take up spiritual life. Don't do it now. No, Prahlad Maharaj is telling us when you're 5 years old, that is the proper time when you should take up Krishna consciousness. So, he's giving us very valuable instruction. He's telling that otherwise, so much time is wasted. The first 10 years of life, practically, one is barely conscious of what's going on. Just trying to breathe and eat and move around. And then the next 10 years, one is busy playing games, just running around playing games. So first 20 years already gone, already wasted. Then the last 20 years of life, too much concerned with old age, disease, and death. Too preoccupied with the weakening of the body and the senses, and all the other problems that come along with it. So 40 years out of 100 already gone. What else is he saying? Besides that, half of the time is spent sleeping. Nidraya riyade naktam vavayena chavavaya divya karteyara rajan kutumba barane nava. In daytime busy working, and nighttime busy sleeping. So out of the remaining 60 years, half of it wasted sleeping. And the other half wasted simply working hard, trying to achieve and to amass more and more wealth. How many chapatis can you eat? How many? 5? 8? Maybe 10? Yeah. 4 or 5 if they're really good, right? If they're hot and just fresh, right? 5 you can manage. Do you have to work 12 hours to earn 5 chapatis? Not really, right? Otherwise, every villager is more advanced than we are. Because that person does not have to work 12 hours to earn for 5 chapatis. But even though we're all working, husband is working, wife is working, uncle is working, grandfather is working, son is working, the dog is working, everybody has got a job, everybody is working. And what is the mantra? Not enough, right? It's not enough. They had a survey done with people who are, in order to qualify for this group, this survey, this target audience, you had to have $1 million in cash, $1 million in investments, and a house that's worth $1 million. So you had to have $3 million so you could qualify to be part of this survey. And they surveyed the people and they asked them, so how do you feel? How is your life going? What's your bhava? What's your state of mind? And the underlying current, the underlying realization was, we do not have enough. We can barely make ends meet. The dad was saying, my son, he goes to the playground, and in the playground there is boys whose dad is worth $50 million. And how does my son feel? Because I'm only worth $3 million. So I have to earn more so that his self-confidence, his ego can be boosted, and he can also play in that league. But these are all futile concepts. Prahlad Maharaj is telling us, if you want to be wealthy, just worship Lord Nrsimhadev. And Lord Nrsimhadev is Krishna, as we heard yesterday, so eloquently, so wonderfully by His Grace Vaisheshika Prabhu. Nrsimhadev is that deity which you'll find everywhere. Even you go to Vrindavan, you go to Nandagram, you go to Varshana, everywhere is Nrsimhadev. Govardhan, everywhere you go, Nrsimhadev is already there. Everywhere, He's already there, smiling and saying, I'm already here. So, Nrsimhadev is Krishna. And we can take shelter of Him and we can pray to Him. Not just for protection, but for pure devotion, for pure bhakti. You see. Often people who are new to this process of bhakti, they misunderstand. And they think that you can only get one thing from one person. It's like, okay, you go to Costco and you can only buy this, but you can't buy that. For that you have to go to Lucky or to India Cash and Carry. Can't get it in that store. It's not available. But in Krishna consciousness, it's not like that. Just like even the rasas, when you see Prahlad, he is in Dasyaras, right? He's a servant. He's a servant and he's serving Lord Nrsimhadev. But in that process of bhakti, in that process of devotional service, because all the flavors, they are contained. It is not limiting. Sometimes people have this neophyte conception and they think, no, I'll only deal with Radha and Krishna. I will not look at anybody else. I will not look at Lord Nrsimhadev. I will not look at, because otherwise I may get distracted. I cannot get that highest thing. But that is a misconception. That is a misunderstanding. Because Krishna, He is omnipotent and He can manifest all the rasas and all the relationships in all His different forms. He's not limited like that. Of course, we know that Shyama Sundar, Krishna in Vrindavan, he has some very unique features and attributes which are exclusively present in His original form. But we should never think that there is anything lacking when we have an exchange of prayers and of devotion and of service with the different forms of the Lord. Like people may say, oh, I'm not interested in all these avatars. I just not interested. But why not interested? This is Krishna. Krishna has appeared. And if we say, well, I'm not interested, then what does that tell us? So we should be interested. Because Nrsimhadev, he appeared for us, for each and every one of us. Because we need protection. Because this material world is a very frightening, it is a very dangerous place. Have you ever been in a dangerous situation? Have you ever been frightened? It's happening on a daily basis. That we're worried, that we are in a state of mesmerization, that we are not sure whether we can actually cope with a certain situation or a certain scenario. But we know that when we take shelter of the holy name of the Lord, Krishna is none different from His name, as we heard yesterday. Nama Chintamani Krishna's Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Shuddha Nitya Mukta Binatvam Nama Namino. Krishna and Krishna's name are non different. They're identical. So when you chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna is there and He's ready to protect. So many times we've had experience on Sankirtan, traveling in vehicles, very dangerous situations. And Krishna just saved the life of the devotees. So many times. So, Lord Nrsimhadev is there and He's always protecting us. And mostly Prahlad is saying that the enemies are the uncontrolled mind and senses. So I'm not afraid of you, even though you have a very ferocious form, but I'm afraid of your Maya. So please grant me protection from the illusory energy. Please give me shelter at your lotus feet. And please do not tempt me and put me in illusion. Do not give me all this enjoyment. Still, Lord not only offered, but He gave. He ordered Prahlad. You have to rule the kingdom for so many thousands of years. You have to be the king of the demons. You have to accept this. Why? Because Krishna knows that his devotee is not going to be swayed or illusioned by material energy. In 7th chapter, text 8 of the 9th, in 7th canto, 9th chapter, text 8. Can we have that verse? Already there. Thank you. We chant this one. Shri Prarada Uvacha. Together. Brahmadaya Suragana Munayota Siddha Sadvaikatana Gatayo Vachasam Pravahai Naraditum Purugunai Radunapi Pipru Kim Toshtumarhati Same Hariru Grajate. Prahlad Maharaj is praying, how is it possible for me, who have been born in a family of asuras, to offer suitable prayers to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Even until now, all the demigods headed by Lord Brahma and all the saintly persons could not satisfy the Lord by streams of excellent words. Although such persons are very qualified, being in the mode of goodness, then what is to be said of me? I am not at all qualified. So here Prahlad Maharaj is showing dhanya, he's showing extreme humility, which is very extraordinary. Even though Lord Nrsimhadev, he personally appeared just for Prahlad, as we have heard also here from the devotees. The Lord personally came just for Prahlad. There was no other appointment, there was no other reason, no other business. Just for Prahlad's sake, Nrsimhadev appeared. So, that's quite extraordinary. One could think, oh yeah, I'm with him, He came because, you see the picture? There's me on the lap of him, and there is me offering obeisances to him. There is him licking my head and my face. There is him patting my head, smelling my head. We would have the whole get-up, right? No. What is Prahlad Maharaj's mood? His mood is, I'm unqualified. I'm unqualified to offer prayers. I'm not suitable. I'm not up to the mark. I don't cut it. I'm not the man. So, and he's also stating in the 10th chapter that our relationship of master and servant will never change. No matter what you offer me, no matter what you do, I will always be your servant and you will always be my master. A devotee is not an opportunist looking for a better deal. Oh, okay, this company offers me a little more. Okay, boom, let's jump, Okay, next 6 months. Okay, some other offer comes up. Jump again. No. A devotee is not an opportunist. Oh, maybe there is, like you see people, they go to different groups, they go to different temples, they go to different sanghas. And it's a common thing. They try, okay, Monday prasad is nice here, and Tuesday it's nice there, and Wednesday it's nice there, and there is South Indian, and then on Friday I can get this, and Sunday, of course, ISKCON, Sure. So, so according to the menu, they have the whole calendar mapped out, wherever I can extract. But we should not be opportunists. We know who is dedicated. Come Monday morning, who is there for the cleanup? Who is there? Once the party is over, the lights are out. Who are the people who are doing it? That is what the Lord sees. So, last year I was traveling with my spiritual master, Srila Radhanath Swami Maharaj, in Italy. Or maybe it was the year before that. And I was assisting him in various services, arranging different things for him. We were together in the same room. So I was carrying his luggage, arranging his bags, doing different things for him. And I was looking at him because, that's what you do when you're together with a person. You look at them. And you expect some sort of reciprocation, right? That there would be some look, some acknowledgement, some smile, some words, something, right? Something. But nothing came. So I was continued to do my thing, but still looking. And my mind was getting a little bit disturbed. And I was thinking, why is he not acknowledging me, Like I'm here, hello, it's me. I'm your disciple, So, I have emotional needs also. And it would be very good for me, it would encourage me. Nothing. So after a while, the mind got quite loud, like, did I make some offense, some aparad? Why is he avoiding me? Why, why this, why that? And this went on for some time. And after a while, some deep sense of satisfaction arose in my heart and overcame me, and I realized, this is very good. This is excellent. Finally, he has accepted me as his servant. You do not need to entertain a servant. You don't have to ask your servant, okay, what would you like to eat now? How are you feeling? How is things going? No. Why not? Because a servant is not insecure. Prahlad is showing us that a servant is not insecure. A servant knows his position, and he knows the position of the master, and he knows the desire of the master. Nrideha madhyam sulabam sudurlabam plavam sukalpam guru karnadharam mayanukulena nabasvateritam pumam bhavaptim nataretsa atmaha. When we listen, Guru Karnadharan, we listen attentively to the instruction of Guru, then message received, message understood. We'll understand what is the mission. We will not have to be prodded. You know what prodding means? Pushed along the way with a stick. No, we will understand what has to be done. And we will do it. You know that there are servants who run companies. There are servants who run estates. There are servants who do many things for their masters. Why? Because they have been empowered by their masters to carry out those services. So Bhakti Yoga is a process of empowerment. Srila Prabhupada recognized talent and he fanned talent and he empowered every person that came in touch with him. When he was walking on the street in New York City, he met Hayagriva Prabhu, Howard Wheeler, who was an English professor. So Hayagriva asked Prabhupada, "Are you from India?" And Prabhupada said, "Yes." And Prabhupada asked, they had some exchange, "Who are you? What are you doing?" So Hayagriva, he said, "I'm an English professor." Prabhupada said, "Can you edit?" And it's like if I ask Prabhu, "Can you count to 10?" It's like, of course. It's not a difficult thing. So he said, "Yes." So Prabhupada said, "Can you edit something for me?" And he said, "Sure." So he went with Prabhupada and he thought Prabhupada will give him an article or a pamphlet or something, that he wants to publish. Or Prabhupada gave him 1,000-page manuscript, Bhagavad Gita. Here, boom, this is for you. Huh? And then he opened the trunk and he said, "And when you're done, then this is the next job, This is the pipeline." So, first meeting, lifetime service, okay? This is the process of empowerment. Now, Hayagriva had some problems. There were some issues. Prabhupada knew that. The pure devotee is Trikalagya. He knows past, present, and future. You don't have to tell Gurudev, "Oh, Gurudev, I have some shortcomings. This is the..." He knows. Don't worry. He knows. You can still tell, but he knows. Because he can see right through all the facade, all the niceties. He sees what is the actual. Like the doctor. The patient will say, "Oh, no problem." Huh? Like you go and you want to fix your car or or your body, and you tell the mechanic or the doctor, no problem, okay? Just do this, do that, and job done. But the mechanic will say, no, there is problem here. There is problem. Something is wrong. So, Bhakti Yoga is a process of empowerment. The entire Guru Parampara is empowering every individual that comes in contact. So in the same way, like Prabhupada empowered so many living entities, we should also empower others and not be insecure. Insecure means I'm not sure about my own identity. I'm bewildered about my own identity, and I'm bewildered about my duties. That is the number one cause of insecurity. Why do they say in a marriage, husband has to make sure that the wife is secure? Because otherwise the relationship is very shaky. There is no stable ground. If they don't know where they're going to live tonight, because there's no roof over their head, then the relationship is insecure. They don't know what we're going to eat tomorrow, or which clothes the kids will wear, then the relationship is insecure. So the husband has to provide that security. And some things are material, some things are psychological, some things are emotional, but also spiritual security is required for a stable relationship. We always talk about love and trust, right? Love and trust, love and trust, love and trust. Everybody has heard it, right? That's the mantra, isn't it? Love and trust. Did you know that 99% of your sales don't happen because people don't trust you? 99%. It's not because the product is wrong or something else. No, it's because people do not trust you, the person who's representing the company. That's the 99% reason. So, what can we do to increase that trust? Of course, we know maturity, non-envy, selfless service attitude. These things are components for creating that trust. But before we can have trust, there has to be communication. There has to be open forms of communication. Just like here, Prahlad Maharaj, he is freely sharing his heart and offering prayers to the Lord. When was the last time that we got in front of their Lordship, Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan, and we shared our heart with the Lord? Say, Krishna, this is my situation. Please help me. I know many advanced devotees are doing this on a momentaneous and a spontaneous. Every moment, every instant, they are in communion, they're in connection with the Lord, and the Lord is giving them guidance and counsel. At least on a daily basis, we should go in front of the Lord. That's what it means. Darshan doesn't just mean you go and you see Krishna. It means actually we're coming and we're reporting and we're telling Krishna, okay, your servant is reporting for duty. Okay, I'm here. Like I know now it's very common that you don't have to go to the office because you have your own workplace so they can save money and infrastructure. But some companies, I was just in Japan, and they demand that every member of the company shows up 5 days a week, 8 hours. And it's not flexible. It's not like, okay, you can work from 11, or from noon till 8 o'clock at night. No. 9 to 5. Every employee has to be present on the job. So when we are going in front of Krishna, we're going and we're saying, okay, Krishna, I'm here and you see me. I can hardly see you because with my two little eyes, I have a hard time. Like I just got reading glasses now, +1. And I'm like, what's wrong? This is terrible, Things are really going downhill fast. +1, right? So, now Krishna, you see me. And you know what's good for me. And please guide me. Please give me guidance so I can serve you better. That should be our mood. Krishnaya Govindaya Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Nama Pankachanabhaya Nama Pankachamaline Nama Pankachanetraya Namaste Pankajangraye. These are beautiful prayers. Queen Kunti is praying, glorifying Krishna in his different forms, in his different manifestations. We should learn these prayers from Srimad Bhagavatam. Sometimes we get in front of the Lord and the mind says, gimme, 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 gimme. Problem, 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 problem. Gimme, 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 gimme. Problem, problem. Have you ever heard that mantra coming in the mental broken record? So then instead of that coming out, if we learn some mantras, some beautiful prayers from the Bhagavatam, we can just chant those. Just like this world is full of anxiety. Dukhalayam asasvatam. It is a dark place. It's an anda, it's an egg. There is so much darkness. I always wonder when I fly in the airline and then they show you the map of the world and they show where it is light and where it is dark. And it looks predominantly dark, you know. It's quite interesting, right? And it moves, but predominantly dark. It's a dark place. So what happens when there is darkness? Anxiety comes. We get fearful. We become full of anxiety. Have you ever been in anxiety? Or is it just me? Sometimes you lay down and you want to take rest, but you can't sleep and you can't even rest because there is anxiety. Something is bothering you. Has that ever happened to you? Or is it just me? Sometimes continuously, on a daily basis. And then you can either just worry and worry and worry, or you just start chanting in your mind your favorite prayers. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. No audience, no cameras, no nothing. No kirtan mela, just the holy name. But full taste, full flavor is there. And all of a sudden, peace of mind. Complete connection. That is the gift of Krishna consciousness. And the anxiety is far away. But the more we try to artificially make arrangements, the more our anxiety will increase. So, to be a servant is the most safe and the most sought after position. To be a servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, is the rarest, the most precious position in entire existence. So when we take initiation, we get the name Das or Dasi, which means we're a servant. It's a very, very exalted title. You're a personal servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Something very unique. One time I was distributing books in Udupi in front of Krishna Mat. And there was one Pandit, and he had, he's a Madhvaitya, big tilak and sika and kuntimala and Brahman thread and, dhoti and chadar and carrying many big books. And he had many disciples with him. And I stopped him. And I gave him one small book of Prabhupada. And all the disciples, they became quite disturbed. Because they were all going somewhere. And I just stopped them. Because that's who I am. That's what I do. I'm not the nice guy. That's not me. So then he looked at, they were like, this is Panditji, don't you know? This is a scholar. I mean, you're trying to teach something to our Guruji? Who are you? So then that Pandit, he looked at me. And he asked me, what is your qualification? And I was a little bit perplexed, because in India that can mean many things. It can mean, what is your gotra, what is your sampradaya, who is your guru, what is your academic background? I mean, what is your qualification? So I was going through all these different scenarios and contemplating the possible answers and thinking he would not be impressed. It would not really make the point. So what do you do when you don't know what to do? Have you ever been in a situation where you didn't know what to do? Huh? Like your phone ran out of battery and your GPS didn't work? And you just pray to the super soul, Paramatma, the internal GPS. Okay, Krishna, please guide my path so I can end up at the program and I can hear the katha. So what do? You pray. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And you pray intensely in your heart of hearts. Krishna, please guide me. This person will not be able to get this book, will not be able to get this mercy of Prabhupada unless you give him special kripa. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. Because right now, things look very unlikely that this will work out. So you don't know what to say, you don't know what to do. You pray. And all of a sudden, Krishna in the heart, he just appears and he gives you inspiration. So, in that case, all of a sudden this verse came to my mind. Gopi Bhartur Kamalayor Dasa Dasa Nudasa. I said, and he smiled. And he took out 10 rupees and he gave it to me. And he said, good boy. Carry on, good job. And he smiled and he walked off. Because he understood that, what was the purport of that shloka? I am simply trying to become the humble servant of the servant of the servant of the servant of the gopis who are serving Krishna. And that should be our mood. It's not about what we know, it's not about who we know, it's not about how long we've been around. It's about actually feeling ourselves as the humble servant. When Krishna entered Dwarka, everybody saw him in a different way. The ladies of Dwarka, they were seeing Krishna and they were fully enamored, fully satisfied in seeing Shyama Sundar, the most beautiful of all personalities. And who did they remember? The gopis. The gopis' unalloyed love for Krishna. Why? Because they're selfless servants. They're not thinking we're the queens. They're not thinking we're the wives. They see themselves as the maidservants. We're the servants of Krishna. Okay, Krishna now, he went to some other place and he's surely having fun there in Mathura, but we are simply his maidservants. That is the mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That is the mood of our Sampradaya. Today is the appearance day of Srila Madhavendra Puri. Before Madhavendra Puri, there was no conjugal ras in this Sampradaya. It was not there. But Madhavendra Puri, he gave that. And his mood was a mood of utter humility. When Gopinath had stolen that pot of sweet rice for him, personally, the Lord is proud to be known as the thief. Like when people, they scream, chor, 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 catch the thief. In the train sometimes you hear, right? And then there's a big riot, everybody jumps up. Oh, finally, we can beat somebody, right? Where is that fellow? Everybody gets very enthusiastic. Chor, chor. Krishna is saying, I am that thief. I have stolen for my devotee, Madhavendra Puri. And what did Madhavendra Puri do? He left that village. He went away from Remuna that very same night. Because he knew, come next morning, everybody will come looking for me. And they will say, oh, maybe you come to my house. Maybe you come to my house. Can I take picture with you? Me and Madhavendra Puri. With the pot. Huh? No. Huh? He left that same night. Because he knew. Pure devotee is Trikalagya. He knows what will happen. And he did not want to have that scenario. He did not want to have that situation. So he left. And he went. Huh? Of course, fame was following him as he went. People already heard. But he always had the attitude, no, this is not me. You're talking about some other person. Because I am a different person. Huh? So, Srinivasacharya also, he appeared today. He's a very special, great elevated Vaishnavacharya. And today is also Buddha Purnim. It is also the full moon when Lord Buddha appeared. Of course, when he appeared, his name was different. He's known as Siddhartha Gautam. And he was a prince. And he grew up in all opulence, in all wealth, well protected by his father, who told his charioteer never take him beyond the walls of the palace. So he did not see anything bad. He grew up with the golden spoon in his mouth. Till one day he wanted to know what is the real deal, what's actually going on. And he ventured beyond the walls of the palace. And he saw old people, he saw sick people. And for him, that was it. He was done. And he walked away from his situation and took up renunciation, practiced austerity and meditation in order to give people a higher state of consciousness. So, today in this Purnima, it is a very good day to also try to make some vrata, some vow, some sankalpa for our devotional service. It is very potent, very powerful. On these appearance days, we can access these personalities which ordinarily are elusive. They're not in our realm. We cannot connect directly with Madhavendra Puri. We cannot connect directly with Srinivasacharya or Lord Buddha. But on this day, we can pray to them and we can get their mercy to become more fixed up in our devotional practice. So Prahlad Maharaj is telling Lord Nrsimhadev, I can never forget my spiritual master, Narada Muni. And I simply want to serve his instructions. So I'm asking you to please empower me, to please enable me so I can always fulfill the desires and instructions of my spiritual master. So that is the mood of a Vaishnava, that they're always grateful and always meditating. How can I please my spiritual master? It's like Srila Prabhupada, he mentioned that my Gurudev, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he has left this world long time ago. But I'm still, many decades ago, but I'm still feeling his presence right next to me. And he's guiding me, and he's directing me, and he's giving me inspiration. So if we also attentively hear the instructions of the Bhagavatam, of the Acharyas, and of our spiritual masters, which are all in line, coming down, then we will also always feel that strong presence, that strong guidance, that strong internal connection, which is the real safety. This is the real insurance. This is the real security. Otherwise, in this world, we were speaking initially before some of you came, you cannot insure anything in this world. This body will be gone. The car will be gone. Our dwelling will be gone. Something will happen, and it will just all turn into dust. So, but the real insurance is there, that if we're connected with Krishna through the process of bhakti yoga, this linking process of devotional service, then we can actually be secure, and we will not be insecure. We will not be confused. and act out of emotional discomfort. You know that when people are in anxiety, they do many weird things and many dangerous things. They are a danger, a threat to themselves and to others. And paramedics know that when people are in emotional or physical, psychological distress, they can act in very, very strange ways. So as devotees, as practitioners in this process, we should make sure that we are in a safe, in a secure, in a stable environment where we do not feel insecure. So to be the servant is always the safest position. But as soon as we pose to be the master, then things become very uncertain. So there are many other verses which are there, and I'm sure you have read some of these chapters. The most part of the 7th canto is the prayers of Prahlad Maharaj and his instruction to his classmates and to his father. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would hear from Gadadhar Pandit every day for a few hours Srimad Bhagavatam in Tota Gopinath in Puri, and hear this story over and over and over again 100 times. He said, please tell it again. I want to hear it again. Please, again. So we should be very eager to hear, because as the acharyas say, the ear is like the sky. It has an unlimited ability to hear and to absorb sound vibration. Have you ever noticed? It's quite astounding what a capacity the ear has to hear. So if we just utilize our hearing capacity to hear about Krishna, yatredyante katam rishtas trishnaya prashamo yataha nirvairam yatra bhuteshu nodvego yatra kaschana. That place, whenever and wherever the devotees hear the Bhagavatam, all fear, all anxiety, and even enviousness becomes destroyed, becomes eradicated. Just simply because we hear the Bhagavatam. So to continuously hear this sound vibration and to spread it by giving these books, by giving this knowledge, by giving this inspiration to others, this is very pleasing. And then we will also feel the protection of Lord Nrsimhadev, who carried Prahlad on his lap, who smelled his head, who touched his head. The little monkey baby is clinging on to the mother, but often it falls down because it's a little monkey. And how much strength does a little monkey have? But the kitten of the tiger or of the lion, which is held in the mouth of the lioness, is very safely protected. You know, the lioness, she grabs the skin at the neck of the baby, and she carries the baby in her mouth. And it looks very, very frightening, very fearsome. But it is the safest place for that baby. In the same way, when we are engaging in bhakti yoga, sometimes it seems like the Lord has a very tight grip on us. And He is He's sometimes giving us tough love. He's not always treating us in a way that we think is very nice. Like little baby wants to go this way, but mother says, no, we go that way. So sometimes there's some shaking going on. But we should know that there is no safer position than to be closely united with Krishna through bhakti yoga. Prahlad Maharaj is exemplifying this. He's showing this to all of us. And he's showing us the path. This is what mahajan means. He's showing us the path. So let us study Prahlad Maharaj's example and beg to our spiritual masters who are coming in the line of Narad Muni to please enable us to also develop this humility, this selfless service, and this compassion, this caring attitude for others. So we can also attract a glimpse of the affection of Lord Nrsimhadev, by which our lives will become perfect. Hare Krishna. We have time for a few reflections, questions. Something that you heard that stood out. We have microphones. Otherwise, you can also yell.
Yeah, there's a question.
Not all at once.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
You said the connection with Krishna in this era or Kali Yuga, we have so many problems everywhere. So that really faith that Krishna will help, that makes a big difference. That we connect, and just like you explained at the time of when somebody asked you, "Who are you?" and you took the name of Krishna and you found one verse and you said, and it was so excellent example of getting help with the great faith in Krishna. So that connection helps us, even though we know it, but hearing from you in a kirtan like this, it makes a deeper difference, that in my understanding. Thank you. Thank you,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna. Yeah, we can do one round. We have time till 6 o'clock. So 20 minutes are there. Yes, Prabhuji, in the back.
Prabhuji, can you share another experience of yours, that how you mentioned right now that you met one of the great Pandit and how you give him a book? So it was very nice. Is there any other example or any other incident you want to share, which is very close to you?
Yeah, we'll get one more. We have first.
The lecture was amazing. How you can combine all the various scriptures and make it simple for us to understand through actual example. Because, as you said, Prahlad Maharaj is a living example. If you just read the book, we don't have intelligence to comprehend what is being said. But making it simple for us by giving actual example that this is how you should live. That's following the scriptures helps us a lot to go. So just second him, if you can, we continue to give the nectar that you have given, and it will help us all a lot.
All the nectar is there in Prabhupada's books. Whatever we know comes from Prabhupada's books. So if we can make it a point to just every day read at least a few verses, then it will have such an impact on the quality of the sound vibration that is coming from our mouth. Because you see, input versus output. Whatever you put in is what comes out. So if you put in noise and garbage, then what you get out is not going to be Amrit, it's not going to be nectar. It will be at least influenced by that. So we should be careful what is the intake. Goswami has explained that the tongue is like a rudder, and it is actually giving the direction where our boat will go. You see these big, huge boats when you drive up, by Oakland, you go to Berkeley, and you see these huge freighters with all these containers. But the rudder is a very small part, but it is determining the direction where that boat goes. In the same way, the tongue is a very small part of our body, but the way how we move our tongue, that's the way how our life will turn. So do I speak Prajalpa or do I speak Krishna Katha? And input versus output. So the more we actually hear this transcendental sound vibration, the more we can directly speak about this to people. And it's not complicated. You can give simple examples. You just tell people your favorite shloka from Bhagavad Gita. That's all. Like when you go on Bhakti Sibhushan. People will want to know, okay, so fine, you're here, but what's your realization? Why is it? Why do you like this? Like I tell people, if they're from India, I tell them, rasam. You know what rasam means? And they start smiling because, you say rasam. then they know. We have a Bengali say, masla muri, right? And they start smiling because they know. Huh? They immediately get the flavor, they get the taste. So you say bhakti rasam is the highest ras that you can have. There is nothing better than this. Huh? The proof of the pudding is in the tasting. If you have a person who is not from this tradition, from this culture, you may have to say something to connect to their reality, to their world, which may sometimes be a little difficult because you have to make that bridge, that connection. But we're here in the Bay Area, so you're all bridge basis because you're all going over the bridges. Every day you're going over the bridge, right? So you have to be a bridge basi. You have to make that connection, otherwise how do you relate with the people in your job, in their life, You can't relate to them because you can go, namaskar, Hari Bol, this, that, Hare Krishna, and they just look at you like, hello? Like, English, please? So you have to make that bridge, that connection. And that means being relevant to people. Not to have a predisposed understanding or mindset. It's required. But it requires a little tact, a little finesse, and a little bit of humility that, okay, I'm not imposing on this person my own preconceived ideas, but I'm just happy to be of service. I just want to make that connection and be friendly. It's a harsh world out there. People are struggling. If you just go up to somebody and say, hi, how's it going? It's been a while that somebody, actually asked me that and meant it and was ready to actually hear me out when I would say, well, now that you ask, actually not so great, But then if you say, oh, wonderful, fantastic, here, take this, give me money, then it's like the guy just told you it's not going so great. And you say, wonderful, fantastic. It disconnect. It doesn't connect. You have to actually be sensitive and be considerate. Where does this sensitivity come from? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. By the quality of our japa, we can develop this sensitivity, this connection. That Krishna also in the heart will tell us what we need to tell this person. There's countless examples. There's so many stories that we can cite about. Like I had one person, every day practically I have one person who said, I've been looking at this book online. And I say, it's very dangerous, Whatever you desire, consciousness creates reality. Ta-da, now it's here. Now you have to read it. And there will be consequences. We don't tell them that, but it's a fact. It's a fact. I was walking in Muir Woods with Madhukari Prabhu a few days ago, and we were just there sitting on a bench and walking the paths that I've walked with my mentors and my guides and my friends so many times before. And we were talking about preaching and our own personal lives, just sharing our hearts, relating. And then one young man in his early 30s, he came walking up and he saw us. There were so many other people who walked by there, and they just kind of, how sometimes people are, they just nod and smile a little. Okay, I've done my duty now. Okay, I smiled at you. Okay, now, are you satisfied? And I'm moving on, right? But it's not, you can see, it's like, okay, I greeted you, but don't expect more than that, okay? That's all you're going to get from me. So, but that person walked by and he went like, hey! And we went like, hey! So we were like, what's up? And he was like, who are you guys? What are you doing here? And we were like, wow, sit down, And we talked for 2 hours. And he said, he'd been very successful designer and in marketing, working for corporates and this and that. And he quit his job because he saw that the company was not really living up to what they promised and what he thought. And now he's trying to find a new move in life. And he already heard Radhanath Swami speak at yoga studio in in Los Angeles, and he said he read the biography, Journey Home, and he told that book has touched him more than the autobiography of a yogi. That's quite an astounding statement, you know, from people who come from that field, because usually for them that's like, wow, that's like the mark. So we talked, you know, and we had a nice exchange, and I took his contact, and I gave him 2 small books, didn't ask him for anything, Chant and Be Happy in Perfection of Yoga. And I just said, just chant, it's all in the mantra. And even though he had chanted in different times, in different ways, and different mantras and different things, now he's starting to chant Hare Krishna. And now, wow, he just wrote me an email, okay, I got to meet you, you know? Can we meet again? Because I'm chanting every day, and this is like, you know, like when somebody feels like they struck gold, and now they're trying to figure out how they can actually open the mine, you know, and excavate the gold. I was in Gujarat, and I told our friends there that you guys are sitting on a diamond mine, but you don't know. You don't know. You know, there's just, you throw some diamonds around, but you don't know that you're sitting on a mine of diamonds. That people are so receptive and so devotional and so inclined, and we are so out of touch with reality. I told them. It's amazing. So, but it requires that sensitivity, that we know how much to give and what to say, and we do not pressurize people and push people and ask them to do things that they're not comfortable or that they're not willing or ready to do. Otherwise, we'll just create anxiety and we'll make them insecure. And when a person is insecure, they'll do weird things. And they don't like to be in a situation where they don't know what is going to be the outcome. So Srila Prabhupada was very straight up, and he gave people bhakti, and he said, just chant. And then later on, he introduced the principles and all these other things. That came later on. First, it's just chant. Chant Hare Krishna is the main thing. If we can do that without giving people too much packaging. Like you go to Japan, you can buy a box this size, and inside is a little sweet this size, but it's all packaging. It's all about the nice presentation. But in Krishna consciousness, we want the substance. And then the packaging, okay, that can vary. Some people don't mind. Like if you're in most places in India, especially in holy places, or I was just in Gujarat now, you can go on a highway and stop cars and just tell people, Jai Sri Krishna. And the guy is no problem, okay, you just stop me on the highway, it's okay, you know, Jai Sri Krishna, yeah. And you can stick in some food, you know, through the window and say Mahaprasadam, and the guy will actually eat it right there on the spot. Here it's like, what is it, what is in it, who has cooked this, where does this come from, you know, I'm allergic, this, that. No, eat it, right there. You can just stop traffic and start serving our prasad on the highway. We have done it. You can shut a town down just by bringing out the buckets and distributing prasad. And even the policemen, they're not disturbed. It's okay. It's fine. It's the Lord's mercy. But if you do this on the 101, you can get killed. So you have to know time, place, and circumstance in the way we talk, in the way we communicate, and what we expect from people. So, and this sensitivity is a cultural sensitivity, it's a social sensitivity, and it comes by chanting the mantra and by being open also for correction. That Krishna will teach us through the people on the street. Krishna will teach us through our God brothers and God sisters. Krishna will teach us through the heart, the super soul. If we're ready to hear him, he can guide us and tell us all these things. So I'd like to thank all of you for your kind patience with me and your hospitality. I'm here simply because of the mercy and the benevolence of His Grace Vaisheshika Prabhu and the kind hospitality of Balmukunda Prabhu and of all of you. So I'm very grateful for that. Trust is the rarest commodity in this day and age. If we can live our lives in such a way that people can trust us, you will have no problem sharing Krishna consciousness with others. How to become trustworthy. So first of all, let us trust Krishna. That's the first step toward becoming trustworthy. Because we can only give people shelter if we have shelter. If I'm not secure, I cannot make another person secure. It's like when you're in a mountain, you have to be hooked. You have to be connected strongly, tightly. Otherwise, you cannot connect somebody else. It's not possible. So when we're tightly connected through Guru Parampara, through following the instructions, then we can connect so many others and help them. But if we are kind of floaters, if we're floating around, then anything can just push us into outer space, into outer orbit. What is that deep connection? Studying the Bhagavatam, hearing the instructions of the spiritual master, following the principles, and chanting Hare Krishna every day. That is of utmost importance. Then we'll have that strong connection. People were asking me, why you take initiation again, because I was initiated before, and this and that. And I said, at one point I tell everybody you have to surrender to spiritual master. Then I was asking myself, but am I surrendering to spiritual master? Because if I ask people to do something that I'm not doing myself, I'm a hypocrite, And my words will have no potency because I'm not doing what I'm professing and asking others to do. So I said, am I surrendering to Guru? Because if the opportunity comes, but I'm neglecting, I'm avoiding the issue, and I'm saying, no, I'm fine, I'm okay. I have the books, and I'm connected to Parampara. But if Sadhu is there and is giving us shelter and is giving us mercy, but we're saying, no, it's okay, I'm fine. Then it means I'm a kritagya, I'm ungrateful, I'm a rascal. So we should be careful. Otherwise, in the name of practicing, we will actually avoid the issue. This is a side point, but it's just something that I wanted to mention. Because to the degree that we have taken shelter, to the degree that we are secured in devotional service, to that degree we can give shelters to others. And I saw so many people were taking shelter, were taking guidance from me because I travel a lot and I speak a lot. It's one of my many defects. So then naturally people will listen to me. But then if I am not tightly connected and I'm not doing what I'm professing and asking others to do, then there will be a problem. I saw that. So this bhakti yoga, this Krishna consciousness is a wish-fulfilling tree. It is a kalpa vriksha. You can get from it whatever you want. If you want to increase your business, ho gaya. If you want to increase your social life, you want to increase your experiences in the world, you can get whatever you want. But if you want pure bhakti, it will be a little bit harder. Because pure bhakti purchases Krishna. So it is not so easily granted. Because Krishna, he becomes subordinate. He becomes captured by the pure love of his devotees. To the extent that he has personally appeared as Lord Nrsimhadev to protect Prahlad. And he's personally taken care of each and every devotee in their own lives. And we all have experience of that. And the more we absorb ourselves in this practice of bhakti, the more we will feel this connection. And we will feel this guidance. And we'll feel this sublime divine intervention. People always come and they say, can you show us a miracle? Where is the miracle, right? Like, okay, you pay $10, you go to the movie, or you go to the circus. You want to see the miracle. Or you come to the Hare Krishna temple, you see the miracle. You see people who are not sattvic, people who are not practicing. And now, they have become transformed, they've become changed, simply because of the mercy of the previous acharyas. So we're very grateful to Srila Prabhupada, his representatives, and the association of the Vaishnavas, that they tolerate us. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is stating that he's begging for the mercy of his readers, and he's saying that I'm old and lame, but simply by the mercy of the stick of the Vaishnavas, I'm able to walk. So I've been sent here on a mission for self-purification and to do a little humble seva. So we beg the mercy of each and every one of you, because only by the mercy of the Vaishnavas will Krishna's desire become manifest. It's not possible otherwise. So I thank you for your kind attention. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So what we're going to do now is japa, meditation. We have a few minutes, so we'll just chant 20 mantras on the fingers. You know how it works? No. No? You know. Can you show everybody? Okay, show us. How you do? Oh, man. Okay. Perfect, perfect. Okay, so we'll start. You can count on your fingers. You start here. You go down, over, up, and down on this side. Okay, that's 10. 10 count. We do 2 of these. Ready, steady, go. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. And yeah, I promised you a second story. Every time I go walking, and presumably every day I go for a short walk, my mind tells me, don't carry any books. You know, you're just going for a walk, you're just chanting japa, right? And then you have to tell your mind, remember the law. You remember the law? Huh? Always carry books, okay? The mind says, okay. And then, okay, you put 2 books in your pocket and you walk around. And when you're chanting, you always look, okay, where is that person who I can give the book to? Just before getting back to the apartment, the one lady, just American, middle-aged, just got into the car. I showed her the books. She took it. She gave a donation. She said, you know, I'm a yoga teacher. Things are not going good in my life right now. Thank you very much for giving this to me. So it's not me. But it is me who can make the decision, yes, I'm going to carry the books or I'm not going to carry the books. Or yes, I'm going to show the books or I'm not going to show the books. I was in Melbourne on morning walk. It was very early. It was at 6:30 in the morning. And one guy just got out of his house in St. Kilda, just a very posh neighborhood of Melbourne, just on the waterfront, on the ocean. And he just was about to get into his BMW. So I just asked him, oh, nice car, huh? And what kind of model is it? And what kind of tires is it? Because I saw he was into the cars, you know. So we had a little car kata. And, and he didn't see it coming, you know. And boom, there was the book, you know. And stuck him in a book. And he took it and gave a donation, you know. Works in Goodyear tires, you know, and very much into cars and tires. And is an executive going to the job at 6:30 in the morning. Huh? So always carry books. Every day Krishna will send you a few people who are just ready. They're just ready, ripe fruits, ready to be plucked. But if you have nothing to give to them, not very good. Not very good. So here you are in a very fortunate position. You're all very fortunate because you have this oasis, this spiritual oasis, and you have the best of both worlds. You have the second largest Indian area besides New Jersey, outside of India. And it's California. This is prime spot for sharing Krishna consciousness with people. Krishna has put you here for a reason. So please take full advantage of this opportunity and you will become very exceedingly blissful and ecstatic in Krishna consciousness. So I'd like to thank all of you for your participation and for your involvement here at ISKCON of Silicon Valley. For those, do we have any guests who are new here for the first time? I think you're going to do that part, right? Later. That will come after. So what do we do now? Arti, thank you. I'm new here, so you have to tell me what to do. Okay. Arti's fun? Okay, let's do Arti. Thank you very much. All go Srila Prabhupada, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.